Imagine walking down the street hundreds of years ago. You're just a regular person, maybe carrying a few coins in your pocket. Out of nowhere, someone approaches you, charismatic, smooth-talking, and promising you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They claim to have the secret to making your fortune, but they're lying. That moment right there, that's the very beginning of a story that has repeated itself over and over again throughout history. Today, we're diving into the history of scams, from the tricksters of the past to the tech-savvy fraudsters of today. Our story begins in ancient times, long before the internet, cell phones, or social media. Picture ancient Greece or Rome. Even then, people were getting swindled. One of the earliest forms of scams was the confidence trick, the art of gaining someone's trust to deceive them. Scammers, known as confidence men or con men, would approach unsuspecting victims, pretending to be someone they weren't, convincing them to give up their money or valuables. One famous story from this era involves an ancient Roman swindler named Theophilus. He would pose as a trusted merchant, convincing people that he had goods to sell, only to vanish once he got paid. Back then, the idea of trust was a powerful weapon, and scammers quickly realized they could exploit it. Fast forward to the early 20th century, and we meet one of the most famous scammers in history, Charles Ponzi. In 1920, Ponzi launched a scheme that promised investors massive returns on international postal reply coupons. Sounds complicated, right? That's because it was. Ponzi convinced thousands of people to invest, but he wasn't actually doing anything with the money. Instead, he paid returns to earlier investors using the money from new investors. Ponzi's scam collapsed when people started asking for their money back, and he was arrested. But the Ponzi scheme became infamous, and the term is still used today to describe any investment scam that relies on a constant flow of new money to stay afloat. Scene 3. The Digital Revolution. Scams go online. Fast forward to the 1990s, and the internet is changing everything. With it, a whole new wave of scams arises. Enter the world of phishing. Scammers would send out fake emails, pretending to be banks, online stores, or government agencies, and ask people to share their personal information. At first, these scams were pretty easy to spot, but as technology improved, the emails started looking more and more real. People were tricked into giving up their passwords, credit card numbers, or even entire identities. In the early 2000s, a particularly famous scam emerged, the Nigerian prince email scam. The story was always the same. A mysterious prince needed your help to transfer a fortune, and in return, you'd get a huge payout. All you had to do was send a small processing fee. But of course, the prince was just a scammer, and the money was gone the moment you sent it. Now, we're in the age of artificial intelligence, deepfakes, and cryptocurrency. Today's scammers are smarter than ever before. With AI, they can now create fake emails, texts, or even voice recordings that sound exactly like someone you know, a friend, family member, or even your boss. Imagine getting a voice message from your best friend asking you to urgently send money because they're in trouble. Sounds convincing, right? That's the power of AI-generated deepfakes. It's not just emails anymore. It's voices, faces, and even video calls that can be fabricated to trick you into sending money or revealing personal info. And, of course, the rise of cryptocurrency has brought about a whole new breed of scams, like rug pulls in the world of NFTs and fake crypto investment schemes that promise quick returns. These scams often prey on people who don't fully understand the tech and are looking for that next big opportunity. So, what do all these scams have in common? The one thing scammers have always relied on is human nature. They exploit our emotions, our trust, and our desire for something better. A quick fix, an easy way out, or the dream of a better life. Whether it's a smooth-talking conman in ancient Rome or a scammer using AI to manipulate you today, the method may change, but the psychology behind it remains the same. The big question is, what can we do to protect ourselves? The key is awareness. Always be skeptical of unsolicited offers especially if they involve money or personal information. And remember, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Scams have been around for centuries, but they've never been more sophisticated than they are now. From ancient con men to modern AI-driven deception, scammer